Imagine waking up in 60 days to a world where a single financial decision you made today has fundamentally altered your net worth. Picture checking your phone to see a news alert so monumental, so globally significant, that it instantly reshapes the economic landscape of an entire nation and, more importantly, your own financial freedom. This is not a scene from a speculative film, this is the very real, and now critically imminent, possibility that we are facing with the Iraqi dinar. The countdown has officially begun. For decades, the Iraqi dinar has been the subject of intense speculation, hope, and skepticism, often discussed in hushed tones within investment circles as the ultimate long-game play. The journey has been fraught with delays, political instability, and economic hurdles that made the prospect of a revaluation feel like a distant dream. But what we are seeing now, the convergence of geopolitical, economic, and legislative events, is unlike anything we have witnessed in the past 20 years. The foundational pieces of the puzzle are not just being placed, they are being locked into position with a decisive finality that points directly to this 60-day window. The information I am about to share with you is not based on vague prophecies or unsubstantiated forum rumors. It is woven together from a meticulous analysis of Iraq's own governmental directives, their ongoing negotiations with the International Monetary Fund, and the tangible, on-the-ground changes to their financial infrastructure. The Central Bank of Iraq has been working relentlessly behind the scenes, not merely to stabilize the currency, but to prepare it for a full-scale reintegration into the global economic system at a rate that reflects the nation's true, staggering potential. This potential is not rooted in fantasy, it is anchored in the undeniable reality of Iraq's vast oil reserves, which rank among the largest in the world, and its untapped wealth in other natural resources like gas and minerals. The nation possesses an economic bedrock that could easily support a currency value multiples higher than its current program rate. The critical barrier has always been the country's ability to meet the strict international compliance standards required for a formal revaluation. And this, my friends, is where the story takes its most dramatic turn. Over the past 6 months, Iraq has executed a series of rapid-fire reforms aimed squarely at satisfying these very requirements. They have implemented sophisticated digital tracking systems for all large-scale financial transactions to combat money laundering. They have passed crucial banking legislation that aligns with international Basel standards, creating a more transparent and robust financial sector. They have been strategically reducing the money supply by replacing older, lower denomination notes with new, more secure currency, a classic preparatory move for a significant monetary event. All of these actions are significant on their own, but their culmination within this specific timeframe creates an undeniable trajectory. This is the final stage. The countdown we are referring to is intrinsically linked to the final reports Iraq is due to submit to international bodies, the conclusion of their current standby arrangement, and the pressing need to move away from a dollar-dependent economy towards a sovereign, strong domestic currency. The silence from mainstream media on this is deafening, but for those who know where to look, the signals are broadcasting loud and clear. We are in the endgame, and the next 60 days will be a roller coaster of announcements, each one bringing us closer to the finish line. This is the moment where patience meets opportunity, where the relentless pursuit of information pays off. Understanding the why behind this timeline is just as crucial as knowing the when. It is the difference between being a passive observer and an prepared participant in a historic financial shift. So, what does this reported timeline actually mean on a practical, mechanical level for the dinar? Let's dismantle the process to understand the gravity of the situation. A currency revaluation, or RV, is not a light switch that gets flipped, it is the final, public acknowledgement of a value that has been built and negotiated behind closed doors. Think of it as the coronation of a king after a long and arduous period of training and consolidation of power. The training, in this case, has been Iraq's multi-year journey to achieve true financial sovereignty and escape the constraints of international sanctions. The key indicator that we are in the final 60 days is the recent flurry of diplomatic and economic activity between Baghdad and Washington, D.C., specifically concerning Iraq's access to its own central bank accounts and the mechanics of its international oil sales. For years, a significant portion of Iraq's oil revenue has been held in a protected account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, a vestige of the post-invasion era designed to ensure stability and control. The recent, high-level negotiations have centered on the phased release of these funds back to Iraq's full control, a process that is intrinsically tied to the demonstration of their new, robust financial compliance measures. This transfer of fiscal control is a prerequisite for a sovereign currency event. You cannot have a strong, internationally traded currency if you do not have full command over your nation's primary financial assets. The successful conclusion of these talks, which insiders suggest is imminent, will remove the final major external obstacle. Furthermore, the internal economic indicators within Iraq are screaming preparedness. The government has been actively promoting a national digital wallet project, encouraging citizens to move away from physical cash and into the formal banking system. This achieves two critical goals simultaneously. It brings a massive amount of the physical currency in circulation back into the banks, giving the central bank a precise understanding of the money supply, and it modernizes the economy, making it more attractive to foreign direct investment post-RV. The official exchange rate portal, which is used for government transactions and imports, has also shown signs of stress testing, with minor, almost imperceptible fluctuations that analysts interpret as system preparations for a new, dynamic rate. Another powerful signal comes from the behavior of the elite and well-connected within the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. There has been a notable, though discreet, accumulation of Iraqi dinar by wealthy individuals and investment houses in Kuwait, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. These are not speculative retail investors, these are entities with deep political and economic intelligence networks. They operate on information that is often months ahead of public disclosure. Their movement into the dinar is a massive vote of confidence in the timeline. They are not betting on a possibility, they are positioning themselves for a near certainty. This 60-day window also aligns perfectly with the conclusion of Iraq's current fiscal year and the budgeting process for the next. The proposed national budget for the upcoming year, which is still under debate, contains line items and project allocations that are mathematically incoherent with the current exchange rate. The projected revenue for massive infrastructure, healthcare, and education projects only make sense if the value of the currency used to fund them is substantially higher. It is a budget drafted for a post-RV economy, further cementing the notion that the government is operating on an internal timeline that it cannot publicly announce but is actively planning for. This is not speculation, it is forensic accounting. Every piece of evidence, from international diplomacy to internal budgeting, points to a nation that is not just hoping for a revaluation, but one that is concretely planning its future around it. Now, let's talk about the global impact and what this means for you, personally. The ripples from an Iraqi dinar revaluation will not be contained within the borders of Iraq. They will form a tidal wave that washes across international markets and reshapes wealth portfolios on a global scale. The immediate, most obvious impact will be on the foreign exchange, or forex, markets. The introduction of a major currency at a new, significantly higher value will create unprecedented volatility and profit opportunities. Major banks and hedge funds will scramble to adjust their portfolios, and the initial trading days will be historic. But the impact goes far beyond forex trading. Consider the geopolitical shift. A financially powerful and stable Iraq, no longer reliant on external financial oversight, becomes a dominant economic force in the Middle East. This alters the balance of power in the region, fostering new alliances and trade partnerships. It could lead to a massive economic boom not just in Iraq, but in neighboring countries as well, as stability and prosperity tend to be contagious. For the global economy, it introduces a new petrocurrency that could potentially challenge the dominance of the US dollar in oil transactions, at least on a regional level. This is a long-term play, but the seeds will be sown the moment the new rate is announced. Now, for you, the individual who has taken the step to acquire dinar, this event represents a singular opportunity for wealth transformation. This is the moment where your foresight and patience are poised to be rewarded. However, the period immediately following the announcement will be chaotic. There will be a flood of information, misinformation, and conflicting advice. You will need a clear, calm strategy for what to do next. The first and most critical step is to have a plan for liquidating your currency. Do not get caught up in the initial euphoria and make rash decisions. Research and identify reputable, well-capitalized exchange platforms or major banks that have confirmed they will process dinar exchanges. Have their contact information and procedures ready. Understand the tax implications in your country. A windfall of this nature will likely have significant tax consequences, and consulting with a financial advisor before the event is paramount. Secondly, guard yourself against the inevitable scams that will emerge. In the wake of the RV, there will be a proliferation of fake exchange agencies, phishing emails, and fraudulent phone calls targeting dinar holders. Remember, you hold a physical asset of immense value. Do not give your serial numbers to anyone over the phone. Do not send your currency to anyone without absolute, verified certainty of their legitimacy. The official channels for exchange will be announced by the Central Bank of Iraq and major international financial institutions. Let that be your guide, not unsolicited offers. This journey has been a test of faith and intellect, and we are now in the final, most crucial stretch. The information has been delivered, the timeline is set, and the world is about to change. Your responsibility now is to stay informed, stay vigilant, and prepare for the transition. The historic opportunity is no longer on the horizon, it is at our doorstep. To ensure you don't miss a single update, to stay ahead of the official announcements and get our real-time analysis as this 60-day countdown progresses, you must take action right now. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because we will be the first to break down every development, every signal, and every crucial piece of news as it happens. This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of the most important chapter, and you need to be ready. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's navigate this historic event together.